Hi everyone, this is Caitlin from Caitlin's Family Farmstead. I thought I would do a quick video on my garden planning for 2022 and some of the seeds that just came in the mail order. I got some seeds. I'm super excited to go through those. So let's get into it. So for what I'm going to go over is kind of some of my ideas of this year of what I'm planting. So I have all kinds of books. First, I have like all different kinds of magazines that I get every year, and we all love going through those. They're so much fun. And then like years previous of lots of notes, things that I liked, the things that I didn't like, things that I need more of, things that I need less of. So when I'm doing that, then I can draw that out. I'm not any kind of artist or anything, but I know what my garden looks like. So for me, I have 6 raised beds that are 4 by 8s. 2 of them, I guess the one back here has a trellis, and then the ones that are going this way, they have a trellis from here to here. So that I know that I can plant things like some kinds of squashes, certain types of melons, even some beans if I want to. I also have 2 trellises that I use in the large area garden that I rotate, move around, and I can put anywhere in my garden. And then I usually do beans or something like that on those instead of my other trellises. So what I got going on is I grow loofah gourds every year, so I know that. And anyways, and one thing also I know about my garden is I know that my raised beds, I can get into them before anything else. So my garden, if you see my property, it kind of like starts up here where the driveway is, and it kind of goes down here like this. That's where my garden is, and it goes lower. So I know I'm on a bit of a grade down, and so spring usually brings rain. So I know my garden is wet for quite a while before I can actually get into it. My raised beds will dry out before the rest of my garden, so I can start planting in there before anywhere else. So, and then also I prefer to do certain things in my raised beds, such as my lettuces I prefer in there instead of just the open field garden. I don't like slugs on my lettuce, and I find that I have a less bug problem in my raised beds. It might be just me, but so there's certain things like that. Also, I'm going to be exclusively planting, I think, probably that's plan now. What actually happens, it's kind of not always the same thing. So I'm thinking I'm going to be planting exclusively all of my carrots in my raised beds. I'm having a bad nematode problem in my garden. I'm finding some of my root vegetables get chewed on, get bugs. And last year, like, I bet I let through out half my carrots because when I pulled them up, they were just chewed. They were mush and gross, and so it's some sort of a nematode problem. I'm going to look into that a bit, see if I know there is products that you can put into your ground to bring good nematode. Anyways, it's a long story, but it keeps going. The problems, they always are showing up. So I know that I like to grow my sweet potatoes after I grow a very small amount of sweet potatoes, but I have been growing them for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and I know I prefer to grow my sweet potatoes in my raised beds versus my other I'm gonna call it field garden. I don't know what else, row garden. So there's just a few of those things. So I do this kind of thing like every year, and it doesn't always happen that way. I will try to stick to this kind of, because I know I will have looked back on previous years where I've planted things and just to try to crop rotate certain areas, make sure it's not always growing like a tomato plant or a potato plant, that those plants get moved around in my gardens. because I think that's a good thing. Some people debate that. I don't know. I just do it, so I'm hoping that it is a good thing. So anyway, so I know that I have the 6 raised beds, and then in between, I messed this up afterwards. I realized it, but I have my 6 raised beds, and then in between here and my row garden, I have an area that's maybe I had my sweet corn in it last year and my melons. So I just put it on the back real quick. There's this along here, so I just know, okay, I gotta put something in that area. It's maybe, well, it's the width of my whole garden and maybe 10 feet wide. So I don't even know, I should measure my garden. I really have no idea how big it is. It's a lot bigger than I probably am even thinking. But I know it's a sizable area. I used to have it as a hugelkultur bed. I did that because in the past it was a horrendous spot in my garden that was absolutely just filled with thistles. So much. I could pick thistles every single day for an hour and I would never get over it, like catch up. It was absolutely terrible. So I had tried doing like a cover crop. I did that. It helped. And then I looked into hugelkultur beds and I thought, well, maybe I'll do that. And it did actually help. Like, I dug out the spot, you know, the whole premises of hugelkultur, filled it with leaves and twigs and sticks and this and that and straw and everything else. And, but I just couldn't keep up. We have a really bad problem with twitch grass. I couldn't keep up then to the twitch, but I just kept adding, like always adding grass clippings or straw, kept that covered. The twitch would come through, but I suffocated the problem I had with the, oh my goodness, the thistles. So, but one thing, so I did get rid of one problem, had another problem, and I was just like, I'm done with this. I can't handle it. So last year was the first year. I know some people don't like tilling, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I tilled that spot again. And the ground there is something about hugelkultur. I mean, like when you put a lot of material down, and it will build up your soil. So nice. It really does. Just keep adding stuff to your soil, grass clippings, whatever you got, whatever you can get a hold of, because it really did an awesome job. My ground there was amazing. It's really great, but I just couldn't keep up to the weeds. So that's why I planted it last year for the very first time. I actually kind of like summer falled it, I think it's called, where you don't plant anything. So when I was doing the hugelkultur, I just kept piling stuff on, but I didn't plant really anything there. And last year, the sweet corn did amazing, and so did my melon plants. So I'm excited for that spot. So I know I have a big area, and I'm thinking I'm going to do pumpkins and squashes. I'm not sure. We'll see. You never know. I know it's a big open spot for me that I can do something big and maybe creeping. So that's something you just got to keep in your head. And then I know what I do for my row garden area. I like to, because it's very large, so I break it up. What I'll do is like, so I have a line here. I make it into 3 groups. Those lines, I'll usually do like zinnias or beans or something that's like, will stay pretty much the whole summer and will be like a good border type thing. So then I can break up those groups into groups of 3. And then I can do rows. And I know from years previous that in each section, I can get about 10 rows, about. It varies. So then I just go through my list of every year plants and I put them all in. And I mean, it's not exact, and I will change it up because all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, it stopped raining and we can till the garden and plant because in 3 days it's going to rain. And so like you just push everything and you put it all in, and sometimes you're like, I don't even know what I planted, but the garden's done. So you walk away. But things I do know this year from last year, Last year I had 3 full rows of beans and a trellis of rattlesnake beans. Those rattlesnake beans on that trellis, I think there might have only been maybe 8 to 10 plants, and I got as much beans from that trellis of rattlesnakes as I did from a whole row of plants. They did amazing. So I know rattlesnakes went on my list of do again this year. Now the other thing is I had grown so many beans, like so many. You can only do so much and then it's a waste. Like eventually stuff goes to waste because you can only manually put away so much stuff. So I know this year I might still do the trellis, but I'm going to cut back from 2 rows of full beans to, 3 rows of full beans to 2 rows of beans, just so that I can manage it, because there is no point in growing stuff if you're not going to use it. So I know that this year, I know I have to have 2 rows of popcorn. For our family, we grow popcorn every year. And that is pretty much so is all the popcorn we need. I very rarely need to grow much popcorn. This year I actually did buy some because ours wasn't quite dried down before our new, the 2020 stuff ran out, before the 2021 stuff was dried down enough to pop, because you have to let it sit out and air out. So yeah, so I did buy a little bit, and I didn't have quite as much yield because our fall was very wet, and I did have some mold on my popcorn, which sucked, but it is what it is. You can only try your best and hope for the best and see where it goes. Onions is something that I could never, every year I grow more, every year it's not enough. So I will continue to put that on there. I have full 2 rows. And then in the raised beds, I will just have areas that I have specific things growing, but then I'll also have some room. So I'll just throw some more onions in a spot that is open. This year, I will get to some of these things that I bought. Some of my stuff has come and some of my stuff hasn't. Okra, me and my daughter, I don't think an okra has ever made it into our house. They're just like the snack out in the garden. As soon as we see one, it's gone. It's free for all, whoever gets it first kind of thing. So I want to talk about a variety I'll show you that I'm super excited about. I got it last year and it was way better. Anyways, I'll get to that. Tomatoes, I usually do about 2 rows. Last year I did 3 and it was too much for me. I might as well focus on what I have and do it better, and maybe throw in an extra 1 or 2 here in a raised bed, instead of having so many that I can't control what's going on. Let me just have a look here. Kidney beans, I usually always do 2 rows because that's what we need as a family. I can those, I pressure can those. Swiss chard, that was one thing. Last year I did a full row of Swiss chard, and I love Swiss chard. I'll can it, you can do the greens, the canned up, or freeze them. I love them in the summertime. Every single day I pretty much have grilled Swiss chard on the stove, but it was way too many. I think I only need to do a half a row. So that's good to know. I made notes of that. Potatoes. I thought I grew a lot of potatoes last year because I had grown potatoes the full length of our garlic patch, and I had 2 rows in my garden. But I know I was struggling constantly with potato bugs, so I don't know if that affected the yield amount, but I know, and so maybe I don't have as many big ones as what I normally would, but that was not enough potatoes. I canned quite a few potatoes this year for the very first time. Awesome. I'm telling you, if you have a pressure canner, can some potatoes. I've pulled out 1 jar just to see. I want to eat all of my ones that have been storage first before going to the canned ones. but I wanted to have some canned ones, and because I always have a problem with them going to seed, like, or sprouting. So then you have waste. Well, I mean, you can always plant them, so it's not really waste, but it is waste when you're wanting to eat something. So I canned a bunch, and I pulled one out just to see how they were, to see if that is something that I want to do again this year or not. And I'm telling you, they were awesome. Like, so good. I thought they'd be mushy. You know, like, you never know the consistency of something that when it comes out. So good. So they were not mushy at all. I threw them on the stove and thought, oh, I just had to warm them up because I wanted to make some mashed potatoes. I thought, oh, I'll just have to warm them up. So I only put them in the pot, had them boil for like 2 or 3 minutes. No, I probably would have to boil them for 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit more. Like, I was very happy with that. So potatoes, I think I'm going to try to do 4 rows of potatoes this year in my garden. I think we have to absolutely do that. Last year, 2 years ago, I grew a ton of beets, and I was like, I'm never growing beets again, because I had so many beets that, like, I canned them every stinking way you can can a beet. I cut them up and I froze them, and we ate beets all the time. So I grew a very, very small amount of beets last year, and now I miss my beets because I don't really have, I think I only have maybe a handful of jars left in the basement. Because in the winter, I feel like you just, all of a sudden, you just need that nutrition that's in a beet. And now I pretty much don't have any. So this year, I'm going to do a full row of beets again. I won't do, like, I think that year I grew 2 full rows, and it was just too much. So I'm going to just take it down a little bit. But that's how you learn, right? You do all this stuff, and you change it up accordingly. So last year, for the very first time, my husband and me made another little garden area right beside my herb garden. I got him to till up a spot in the grass. I think it's about a 10 by 15 area. I will be doing my sweet corn there. I'm not sure if that will be enough sweet corn area, and we'll see. I might have to find a corner in our farm and just get him to do that, plant it, because he can plant it with his 4-row corn planter, and we have a scuffler that's a 4-row scuffler, so it's actually not a lot of work for him to just do that for me if I really want a lot of corn. I don't know, that might be enough, the 10 by 15. I have to kind of sit down and try to calculate that in my head and figure that out, because it takes a lot of sweet corn to grow, to, like, feed our family. We're a family of 5. My oldest son is like feeding 2, so I feel like I'm feeding, and my husband is like that as well, so I feel like I'm feeding, like, not 5 but like 8. So my goal every year for sweet corn is 52 bags. I freeze my sweet corn. Most of my corn that I do is I freeze it, so I try to do 52 bags of corn a year, so that's a bag a week, obviously. And then if I have extra, which 2 years ago we actually did market gardening corn, so we did 5 acres of corn, sweet corn. And so I have good stockpile still of canned corn, which I still want to do a bit more because I've been getting into that stockpile of it. So I want to add some back again this year. So that's why I'm thinking I might need to grow some more. It's really nice for when you, like, have a chili or something. I don't love the taste of the canned corn if you just pull it out and, like, want to have it as a side dish. It's not really, I don't know, I just not love that taste. But it really is nice for, like, soups or something that you add it in. Casserole, if you just need to dump it and put it in there. It's really good for that. It really works nice. And because we had all that corn 2 years ago, I also dehydrated a lot of corn. So, I mean, I still have lots in the stores, but I still want to have lots more. Anyway, so that's kind of like a little bit of how my garden is going to pan out this year. I mean, it totally depends on weather and when you can get in, and some of my seeds that I've ordered haven't shown up yet either. So, and I've gotten notice on a few of them that they are not going to be coming. So that's why I have all my books out again. That's why I thought I would come in quick, go through this, write all this stuff down, because I need to go now and look at other companies for a few of the seeds that I had thought I had secured, and I don't. So another one, is carrots. I think we never have enough carrots because I've always had problems with the nematodes, but I still want to grow as many carrots as possible. So anyways, first seed order pack is from Baker Creek. I buy from several different companies. My go-tos are usually Baker Creek or rareseeds.com. Vessie's, that's a Canadian one. I'm trying to stay in Canada as much as possible. William Dam seed company, that one is actually not too far away from me, and so I try to order a lot of that stuff because I feel like it's in my growing region. So a lot of the plants that are being harvested or cultivated, the seeds are used to my climate. And I have had good luck with them. And then last year for the first time I did West Coast Seed Company. I really enjoyed that company as well. So there's a few seeds coming from there. I haven't received those ones, and I haven't received my William Dan seeds yet. I have in the past also bought from M.I. Gardner. Maybe we'll have to look into that again this year for some of the seeds that are missing. So, I mean, I'll go back and see what I can find. But anyways, let's pull out one of my favorite companies. Honestly, they're the best. I don't know why, but I just love, rareseeds.com. Like, I bought their book. I don't do it every year because it's not cheap. They have a free one, I think, and that's a smaller version. And then they have this nice big version. I really like it. And every now and again, you just like to read the stories that they have in here about the different seeds. They just got really interesting stuff. Sometimes they have really awesome stories, and sometimes they even have, I just seen one, some really cool recipes. Like, because sometimes you just see some of these things and you're just like, I didn't know it. Oh, I maybe was going to say something about my melons. I'm not growing I want to gear this year towards more squashes, because they can I can store them freezer, canned, or just sitting on my shelf in the basement for good quality ones. So I want to gear towards more of those pumpkin squashes than melons. Last year I grew a lot of melons, and I found that we didn't always finish them before they rotted because, one, we just grew a ton of them. So yeah, that was a decision I also made this year. So let's start off here. Oh, this is like a spinach. I'm excited to try that. I always like lots of lettuces, and like I said, I grow them in my raised beds. Another one, so this is the okra I was going to talk to you about. It's called Heavy Hitter. Everybody knows Clemson Spineless. I've grown Clemson Spineless for a couple of years, but last year I grew Clemson Spineless and Heavy Hitter, and I prefer this one because of our growing climate. We don't normally get that many off of a plant. Like this is a plant that we put in the garden for snacking. It's not something that we put in the garden. It's like a pleasure plant. It's not like the plant that I know that I'm going to get a huge crop off that we can put stuff away. But it's the novelty of it. So anyways, but this one I did find that we got a bit more out of. So if it's in my garden and taking up space, I want it to perform as best as it possibly can. So I'm going to do that one again. This year I got a whole bunch of tomatoes. Because I do so much, when I do can tomatoes, it's a lot of things that I need paste tomatoes for versus slicer. I'm the only person in my family that will eat a tomato raw. So for me to grow cherry tomatoes is kind of like not going to happen. I'd rather have a beef steak than to make my sandwich or whatever. But one thing about it is I need those Roma types, and I have been disappointed in the last few years with San Mazzaro's. I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I have not been totally thrilled with their performance. So I went to Baker Creek because they have lots of fun kinds of tomatoes and bought quite a few. But I do have quite a few steak potatoes, or like beefy type ones here too. I bought a ton of tomatoes. You just start buying one and you see another one and you're like, ooh, that one looks interesting too. So I got this one. I like to have a nice yellow tomato always, at least one. That one looks kind of cool and it's got the black on it. Orange accordion. I've never had an accordion one, so I thought that would be kind of fun. I don't want to plant too many yellows or oranges. I want to stick towards a lot of reds just for the fact that because I do can so much of them. But a few is kind of fun too. So I went with the mortgage lifter. That's always a good one to have in your pantry. Now I have a whole bunch of seeds that are put away, like my German pinks and Abe Lincoln. I have those already, so those will be going in my garden as well. But I don't actually think I've ever had mortgage lifter, so that's why I wanted to do. So this is considered some paste tomatoes. So they have a new one, a pink fang. Those look really cool. Jersey Devil. They did a big write-up this year in their catalog on that one. Korean Long. That looks just tasty to me. Ooh. Is that all my tomatoes? My tomatoes from them. So those are exciting. And oh, I love Baker Creek. So they also, when you buy some seeds from them, sometimes they send you some free ones. And it's like they knew I wanted to grow more carrots. Thank you, Baker Creek. And oh, and they know I love flowers. I got a nice Phallix. Now that's exciting because I want to put more in my orchard area. It's one of my focuses this year is to add a lot of flowering plants just to bring pollinators in. Now this is kind of cool. This is a corn. It's called Glass Gem. They said it's like a popcorn. So, and like I said, I like to grow lots of popcorn. So I will probably grow my regular popcorn that I normally always do because I want to make sure I have a crop at the end. But I will also be adding those in just because they're really cool. And we'll see how those do. And maybe I'll switch over to those or not. Also, I bought a squash. This is a trail one. This is one that's going to need to be staked. So I'm thinking I'm going to put this on one of my trellises. What is it called? Zucchino. Oh, ramp. I have no idea. I'll hold that up there for a second because I don't know how to say that. I don't want to botch it. But those look really cool. It said they can be eaten like right away. They're tender, or you can leave them and then they get a little bit thicker skin and you can store them. So that's fun. And because I love flowers, I did a sunflower. I don't normally plant sunflowers in my garden. You will see sunflowers every year in my garden, but I do not plant them because I used to plant sunflowers in my garden and they just come up everywhere. So I see them when they're coming up and I will allow some to stay and some get pulled because I would just have a whole garden of sunflowers. And some have really cross-pollinated over the years, and some of them look pretty cool. So I just like doing that. But I kind of had to do it because they're pink. Seriously. Like, I had to do that. So, and then this one, because I like to grow kidney beans every year, I have tried in the past some black turtle beans. My kids didn't love those. I've tried a few other different types of beans. I think I had chickpeas that I bought last year and I didn't have room for them then. So I might add that into my garden if I have enough room or not. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, one thing I was going to also say is I might be adding a little bit more width to my garden this year because there used to be a fence line, an old fence line between the pasture field and my garden. And because we built that new barn, my barn, we're going to be putting up a new fence because the old fence was like completely rotted out. So I'm thinking I'm going to get him to just move the fence line over just a wee bit so I can widen my garden because I need more room. I have too many plants. So I also bought these beans. They looked really cool. So they were found in a cave apparently. I'm thinking they're a lot like a kidney bean. So, and I've grown Jacob's cattle bean before. They were pretty much so the same thing as a kidney bean. And so I'm thinking that these are going to be a lot along the same line. So we'll see. Maybe I'll even use them as dried beans. I don't usually do dried beans. I usually just can all my beans and then they're ready to go. I don't have to worry about soaking them and everything. But anyways, so that's exciting. Another one of those. So that's it from Baker Creek. And then I also got a few things from Vessi Seeds here. I like ordering from them as well. Most of what I order from them, actually a lot of the stuff that I've ordered from them isn't here yet. I got a lot of things saying that it will be coming. I knew I did order an apple tree from them. It's a green apple. I don't own any green apples yet. Green sleeve it's called. It just looked really yummy. So that I knew wouldn't be coming. It won't be coming until probably May, I'm thinking. And then I did order, they had blackberry bushes. So I ordered 2 of those, it says. So I knew that those 3 things wouldn't be coming yet. Now my watermelon that I ordered, I know I didn't say I'm going to plant that many watermelons, but I wanted to try this variety. I'm trying to still find the variety that I love. I haven't done that. So that's why it's not a priority in my garden. But anyway, so that is still to come yet, and another few things. So what I do normally order from Vessi's is my priority from them is my sweet corn. I have ordered years ago sweet corn from Johnny's Seed Company in the States, but the shipping was just way too much money, like to bring it up here. So I've steered clear from them, and I've tried a couple sweet corns from couple different places, and I've had really good success with Vessi seeds. I do have some corn seed put away, so I don't have, this isn't all of the seed corn that I'm going to be doing. So Raquel, this one unfortunately only comes as treated. I don't love that, but it's really good sweet corn. So yeah, someday maybe I'll find a variety that I like. Vision is from them as well. I really like this corn as well. I'm just going to see if they have on here because I don't have it. How many days? So yeah, there's 200 seeds in there, 200 in this one, and this one's untreated. I'm not seeing, it doesn't have it on this package how many days. I know they're all about like 70 to 75 days of growing. And then this one's a new one that I haven't ever tried before. It's called Catalyst. There was one that I tried last year and I wasn't in love with it. So I thought, well, I'll switch it out and try a different one this year. So that's it from them. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. Excuse me. Packing slip. I have 2 more things from them. Nothing too big. Georgia Candy Roasters. I needed more Georgia Candy Roasters because the seeds that I had from my Georgia Candy Roasters, I'm not sure what I did, but I molded them all. So when I went to go put them away, they were all moldy. I think it was just really wet this fall, and I had a lot of mold problems with a lot of different things. So I needed to buy then some Georgia Candy Roaster seeds. So I did that because I really like the taste of Georgia Candy Roaster, and they're huge. And then I also just got a flour mix because, like I said, I want to add lots of flowers in my food forest or orchard area. So, yeah, this is a whole annual surprise mix, it says. All different kinds of blooms that we should get. So I'm hoping that will be pretty cool. Anyways, so that's that. I don't have anything else. My William Dam, I'm still waiting on those seeds, and I'm waiting on some other seeds from some other companies yet. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I love seeds. I know everybody that's watching, or anybody that is watching, likes seeds too. It's a community that we can all join together and get excited about seeds, which is really strange, it might sound like, but it's what we love, right? We love gardening and we love getting our hands dirty. So I hope that maybe you learned a few things. Maybe, oh shoot, I know one thing I was going to say and I didn't. One kind of pumpkin, and I don't have it here because I saved the seeds, guys. You can make sure you're saving your seeds. I'm gonna just quick see if I can pull it up. I know it was, I'm pretty sure it's from William Dam. It's a pumpkin. If anybody is looking for a pumpkin, I hope I can find it real quick. That has a lot of seeds. It's you grow it, I would say, mostly for the seeds. This is why I don't have the seed packet, and I forgot about it because I haven't got my William Dam seeds yet. Where on earth? Just a second. Go back to my list. William Dam, page 69. See, I write it all down, y'all. You got to do it. It's this one in the corner. This little pumpkin isn't very big. It's not very big. 2 to 3 pounds, it says. But if you're wanting a pumpkin that is awesome for seeds, if you're wanting, like, you know, roast your pumpkin seeds, this thing is absolutely packed full of seeds. It's amazing. So that one is going in my garden again this year. That is one that will definitely find a home in my garden. Anyways, just thought I would throw that out there yet too at the very end. I knew I wanted to make notes of it. I should just make notes so I know what to talk about, but going off my cuff here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, learned something. If you guys have some awesome suggestions of plants that you are like must-haves in my garden, please leave a comment below and let me know, because maybe that will be something that I will try in my garden as well this year. I hope you guys all have a great day. Make sure you press that like button. It really helps generate my channel. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Enjoy looking through your catalogs too, because I know I am. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.